Thanks, Amelia. And thank you to all who have already shared, I think, some very rich reflections on the challenges around urban mobility in a time of COVID. And I've been asked to build on some of those reactions around the question of partnership. So that partnership around sustainable and safe urban mobility during emergencies, and obviously looking at our current COVID crisis, but not exclusively. And as Ms. Gani was just reflecting as well, you know, this very clearly illustrated a lot of tensions between safe mobility, safe for whom? Safe for the operators, safe for the users, and what does that look like from the different perspectives? Thinking about the partnerships, public-private, that may emerge around this. But I'd also suggest we also need to be looking at the questions of accessibility of that transport during these times, accessible for people with limited finances, and looking at the day labor requirements. We talked about this with Java, West Java, thinking about how you've seen a dramatic decline, but not in the poorest areas where this really isn't an option to self-quarantine. We're also going to look at perhaps that accessibility for all to continue their ability to use public transportation. And then thinking about that creativity aspect in our conversation today. And so with those different lenses, frequency, use, creativity, safety, inclusion, we have three speakers that I will invite to take the floor subsequently. Mr. Michael Cash, who is the General Secretary of the National Union of Rail, Maritime and Transport, a British trade union, also joining us as a representative of the International Transport Workers Federation, and we'll invite him to share his perspective. We also have World Enabled. The president, Dr. Victor Pineda, I believe, is joining us as well. And we'll have a third intervention from Ms. Valeria Marcolin, who works with creative mobilities. So we'll kind of keep this a bit punchy, if we can, a bit sharp in our engagement, and just ask a few questions as we move through, because each one of the organizations represented here has developed a wide range of tools, supporting mechanisms, and guidelines, which are also going to be available, I trust, on our resources following this intervention. So, Mr. Cash, are you with us on
I am
the
indeed,
line?
yes.
Excellent, very good. May I call you Michael?
You call me Michael or Mick?
Oh,
My
right,
sisters
Mick.
call me Michael. The back uniformly call me Mick, but there you go.
All right. Well, I won't call you Mr. Cash then. You're giving me too many choices. But Mick, as your role within both the RMT and the ITF, you actually speak for a voice of nearly 20 million working men and women across the world, looking at transport workers, and the issues facing your community would be absolutely essential to understand. You know, my question is really, you know, when we look at reducing or even suspending public transport, either the frequency or the coverage, people are feeling perhaps not fully trusting of public transport at this time. We talked about the need to build back trust, basic service, but also protecting your fellow transport workers in this fight. What are your primary concerns? How do you anticipate those changing over the next 3 months? And then I'd like to ask you about the impact you see on the jobs of those public transport workers in these urban areas. Over to you.